Here we are for the April 15th Requirements Management Office Hours. Um, right now, there's one item on the agenda, second item coming for now. So, Martin, would you like to voice that?
Or do you want to move mine for later? Because mine is not really a question
That's true.
or
It's not.
just discussion.
Yeah, Martin brought up the idea that our documentation probably needs some additional input from myself and some others. So, we're going to go ahead and try to schedule some time to improve the documentation. So, for anybody who's curious about where the documentation lies, that's sort of where we're working towards. So it is known that there's some work needed, and we're working to improve that as we go. And we'd love any other feedback, honestly, as well. So
There is also, like, since we're already talking about it, there is already also a merge request in progress that makes some things clearer, but let me see if I can find it and link it there as well.
excellent. Thank you so much. John, would you like to voice that over, or would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. So I'm just kind of wondering what I know we have this ship the homepage initiative, right? So I'm wondering what the priority is of requirements management versus quality management for the team. Let's say over the next quarter, but if you have more information than that, then great.
I mean, for the next quarter, I think it's pretty easy for me to answer. As we go out further, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But yes, there is the initiative to try to ship the homepage. There is a push to try to get a quality management MVC shipped in Q2. Now, my goal with that is to make it as utterly simplistic as possible that provides some sort of value. So I think the proposal we had is, I mean, I mocked it up in Python, and it's basically just an auto creation of epics and issues with some labels. So I feel like that's relatively minimal. I'd like to get some more feedback on that, but the goal is not to interrupt the requirements management progress. As we move into the next quarter, it's going to become more critical to kind of develop on both of them or iterate on both of them. But the focus is going to be primarily requirements management, probably throughout Q3. And only in Q4 will we probably decide if we want to slow down on requirements management. It'll be the primary theme, I think, going forward for Certify over the next 6 months. And then as we can make small improvements to quality management and service desk and keep them sort of, I don't want to say life support because it sounds bad, but kind of keep them moving, but not introduce any new major features is sort of the plan right now. If that helps.
All right, thanks. I was just wondering if we would need, like, if it's not a priority, we could look at, having a quality management office hours instead, maybe, or something like that. But
absolutely, and that's something I'm open to doing. I think the office hours, for the people who've joined them here and there, they found them a very helpful way to sort of find alignment, and especially for the broader GitLab team, it's wonderful for them to come in and ask questions about a feature that they may not understand the most. So yeah, I'll definitely look at putting together some sort of quality management office hours once we get to the point where we've committed to a release for it. I'll put together an office hours. And then I think we as an engineering and product team probably want to talk sooner and sort of nail down that MVC and be sure that it's very crisp and as minimal as possible. I want to make sure we iterate to bare minimum on that.
sounds good, yeah. And we could also look at when we want to make it a theme similar to our requirements management. So when we want to open the Slack channel and kind of I'm coming at that from a sort of a back end bias, right? So whenever the UX is done and all the decisions are made, we'll start a theme. But the truth is, it probably would be helpful earlier than that for others. And I know it's definitely the requirements management office hours. While it might seem like it's attended, to varying amounts, it's there when it's needed to keep people unblocked, and I think that's really important.
I agree, and I think that as much as it's not always utilized to its maximum potential, the ability to have a standing meeting that switches time zones for people to be inclusive, even the SAs have been saying, hey, they really appreciate that, even if they haven't utilized it yet, because when they do have a question, they know that there'll be at least, myself and probably an engineer on there as well, where they can come and ask those questions and get that feedback that they're really, looking for. It gives them that sort of weekly cadence where they know that they'll be able to talk to somebody. So I'm going to keep it around, even if it's low attendance. I think it's a incredibly useful thing. And it just, the more we can open it up to the organization, the better. So I'm trying to get the word out as much as I can as well. I'm thinking about trying to add it to the GitLab shared calendar just to make it even more visible. So I will look into what it takes.
Sounds good. Yeah, good idea. Thanks. It's very useful.
Yeah, thank you. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I think we're going to stop the recording for this week. Thank you, everybody, for joining.